So, what did your wife think about this book?
Okay, great.
Was she okay with it?
Yes, I'll make a clarification on that. Now, when I decided to eventually get settled down, and I told myself, okay, this is time, I just went headlong into it without very deep consideration. That was everybody was telling me, okay, so it's about time for you to get married and all of that. And so I told myself that maybe I'm the difficult one. Like, just keep on giving one.
Thank you for joining us in this interview.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, so I'm holding in my hands this book, The Ghost of Zina. Your very first publication as an author. I'd like you to tell us what this book is all about.
Wow, incredible. The Ghost of Zina is a living experience. I was in school back then, Ife precisely. I think I entered when it had just turned to Obafemi Awolowo University. So I didn't experience Ife, but I think we're the first settled there about 88. And here I was in medical school and all of that, and having the time of my life in Ife. It was such a fun place to be and everything. I was young, 16, impressionable. Good university in Nigeria was actually like being overseas. It was such fun. As would happen on every campus, you learn all about everything, including relationships and everything. And I had my own fair share of dating. And then eventually I would come across some very wonderful lady called Zina.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And we started this whirlwind romance. Ayo Dada, everybody on campus knew us and everything. And it was such a very spectacular thing. We stayed together and all of that. But as life would have it, for reasons that I wouldn't be able to understand at that time, towards my exit from Ife, the whole relationship just started to fall apart. And this was the person I was really into. I was, head over heels in love with the girl and everything. And then I was told that this was not going to happen. I didn't understand it. And then right before my very eyes, my world fell apart. And for 20-something-year-old who didn't have as much experience as I would say I have now, I had nothing to hold on to, so I had to fall right flat on my face. And the pain was incredible. It was totally traumatic. It was devastating. And I just did not know if I would be able to grapple with the experience. And so every time I found myself in a situation, I would just take a piece of paper and scribble out the way I felt, this is my raw emotions, and write it out. And there were very many such moments. I would just sit back and continue writing. And of course, being on the same campus and everything, you were still hoping that, something would happen. But it was not happening, and I was dying from pain. And that's when I realized that pain really kills. Kills, Kill, kills. And there was nothing that could help me. The tablets were going to help. I was having insomnia. I was sleepless nights for like 3 days nonstop, and I was drinking coffee, drinking everything, drinking Lexofen. Nothing was working. And I just realized that, I had hit a level of shock that was very hard. And so I started to write out my experience. And thankfully, around that time, for reasons I can't explain, there was some wonderful jamba that just fell in love with me too. So here I was in love with somebody that had gone. And I had this jamba that was, really, 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 really madly in love with me and everything. And I couldn't give her myself emotionally, but I was there for her as a friend and everything. And so that one thing I received was helping me, just kind of like buoyed me. And so it gave me balance, and in the middle of the whole thing, I just had to write my experience out. And until I finished from school, and even in my mobile years when I was there, I found that I was still ghostish, I was still aloof. The only thing that gave me a lot of happiness, after work was just sitting back and just writing The Ghost of Zina. I haven't gotten into trouble with it once or twice. Because you're meant to be doing your accounting work and everything, and here I am banging away and poems and everything. But I just knew it was significant, that there was something that I had to share with the experience, and mostly that the basis of relationship, should be love. It's such an incredible feeling. I mean, if you have love, you have everything. You're basically a very human being and all of that. And so I started clanging away, and then it gave birth to
The Ghost of
the
Zina.
Ghost of Zina. Yes.
Before we get into this book, why did it end? Who ended it? She ended it, right?
That's a good question. Well, I'll say she started it. She started it. And even at that, I wouldn't have said it was her. I would say it was more like peer influence. I think some very wealthy Khashoggi just stepped into her milieu, and the friends were like, I are still in school and everything. Why don't you just go off with this person? He will catch up and he will find somebody somewhere down the line. And so that influence came, and she was torn in between what she really experienced, like, felt for Ayo and her friends and everything. But for me, that it would even be a subject matter in contention at all was shocking enough, because I felt like, man, this was the world. And so I was turn of events stigmatized me a lot, and then I was virtually pleading that, I mean, like, why do you want to do this? I mean, I don't understand and everything, really, really much in pain and everything. I'm wondering why she could actually develop an aloofness from what I felt was like a paradisical relationship. So yeah, it started from her. So by the time I now left school and found myself in my work experience and everything, she wanted to come back and let's see how we can work things out. But I think I was already too stigmatized. It gets to a point in time where you're just like ghostish, and you're not yourself. You're just floating everywhere. And she came back at that point in time when I was just not centered, and I couldn't focus. And I think that's where we drifted and then lost ourselves completely in the storm. And she was like, okay, well, he's not there. I might as well just go back to that one person that I'm guaranteed to have. I don't know if I will ever, and fizzled away.
Okay, so would you say it was youthful exuberance that made her decide to, dump you or something?
Yeah, certainly. Because she's a very, I mean, I can still vouch for her till date. She's a very wonderful character.
Okay.
And more of peer pressure,
Careful.
that just got her a bit confused. Because, I mean, we're still in touch. We're still very close and all of that. So it's not exactly as if it's went sour, went south. We just agreed that it was a phase in our lives. And eventually to become that one significant experience that unearthed a lot of potential within me. Because at that time, I wasn't writing, so for me,
So the breakup
it just
unleashed
unleashed and broke, like Kyle Gibran would say, that pain is just that which cracks the depth of understanding that you have. And so it happened that one experience deepened me, and then I realized that I had to reach deep into my spirit to release myself from that pain. And to release myself from that pain, I had to write it out. And in the process of writing it out, it kind of like liberated me. And I told myself that, okay, this book is going to help a lot of people. And the writing
of this book.
I wrote it only with her permission.
Oh, and she didn't mind.
Oh, she read a lot of it before I published it. Because if I didn't do that, then it would seem as if I'm maligning her or trying to like get back at her of the book and everything. But she read it and she was like, "Oh yeah, this is nice." She loved it, and it's okay. So we both agreed that it was now a creative experience. It wasn't personal.
Okay.
So she sanctioned that I should go ahead and
she must be a very liberal person.
Oh yeah, large-minded person. She's deep.
Okay, so it's not like your average book. It's more like a collection of poems or something.
Well, it's poetic, but for me, it was just my feelings, just expressed. At the time I called it poetry, but now I can't call it poetry anymore.
Okay.
Because anybody can write. Anybody that is hit by an experience can unearth certain aspects of himself by just writing. So it just happened that it was poetic, but it's more like capsules that liberate the spirit from pain.
Okay. So what has been your experience? I mean, since you wrote the book, you did say that you got into a competition, you won an award with this book, right?
Yes, please.
Can you talk to me about that?
Okay, so the publishing experience was another thing altogether, because at the time I wrote the book, I was very naive about the publication process. I just got up and said, okay, let me run to a few publishers around here, just assuming that they'll like the script and they'll publish it. Then I realized that it doesn't work like that in this part of the world. Most publishers are out to make profit of the book, and profit for them is a book that's recommended for secondary schools or university and all of that. And so they're not really very willing to invest in a new author and to promote him, coupled with the fact that they don't believe that there's a reading culture here. So I had to go into research and tell myself, okay, well, at that time, of course, this because of Zena was way ahead. I haven't known that I was going to reach a dead, point with the publishers. I said, okay, well, I probably will have to, learn the process. Eventually, when the book came out, it was smack into them. It was just what I wanted. I think Prince must have been maybe the most expensive, best press at the time. So I went to Prince. They did a good job. And I told myself, okay, well, now that I have the book, I'm just going to sell it to my friends and everything. And so I'm in my gallery one afternoon when a young man, Chile, comes around and says, Ayo, this book is incredible. But have you heard of the Pacitomi Award? I said, I have no idea. He said, look, let me take a few copies for you, that I'll go drop it up for there. You never can say what will happen.
The Pacitomi Award?
Yes, the Pacitomi Literary Award. It was the most distinguished award at the time, way before the LNG and anything. So, I don't have any literary or art orientation. I'm a pure science student, so I had no idea of what the process worked out. So he took it away, and then we forgot about it. Then about 6 months later, a phone buzzed, and somebody called the line and said, "Am I speaking to Charles Ayo Dada?" I said, "Yes, please." I said, "Well, you'll be invited to the Golden Gates on this date. That your book has been nominated for the Pacitomi Award and everything." Wow! I didn't know what it all entailed, but I was really excited. I jumped up with joy. I was like, "This is incredible!" To be honest with you, I had no idea. I had, just a youth corporate, just finished youth service and everything, and there I was. I'm busy introducing literary giants. So they started from the 6th. It's okay. This person's book. I just thought, okay, well, I don't know any of these people, because by the time they're running through the CVs, they're like, okay, Hope Gaga, professor of English or something called, another guy like that.
So well accomplished people.
Yes, people that
I didn't think you stood a chance.
I didn't even know them because I didn't have an art orientation. But when I started hearing prof and doctor and everything, I was like, this is really something, And so they were reading off their CVs. Okay, head of department, this, yeah, been on that journey, everything. So by the time they got to my own CV, there was really nothing to. There was nothing to my first book. Here I am, just out of NYSC, trying to get my life together and everything. They started from the 6th, and then they started to knock it over, and then eventually when they got the 2nd position, they're like, okay, call The Ghost of Zena. And I'm like, wow. So the book came 2nd in the entire thing, which everybody said was incredible for a person that didn't even come from the arts. But eventually it came out, and then it was used in many universities, including Unilag and Babcock and Covenant and Olapisi and a few other universities.
They were used as what? What were they used as?
Text, university text. They used as the books that they studied during the, and it was new and fresh.
Under what course?
English department.
Oh, really?
Yes, English department. And so maybe the language. I think it's more like poetry and drama. Then the dramatists also picked up as well. And said, okay, well, this book has dramatic potential, and they also picked it up. We even had a night in Unilag where we dramatized the poetry. Same was done in Babcock. Same was done in Lasso. And so I was giving papers, and then the book was undergoing a lot of reviews in the press, a lot of press reviews, TV interviews, and it went on for a long time. And then the thematic exploration, probing into just love was novel at the time. How you just write just about love, and it doesn't seem boring at all, different. And then I said, okay, well, the whole idea is let's probe into this very vast emotion that seems to have no boundaries, and it's like a bottomless ocean. And so in the different university we went to, students felt so happy reading the book because it spoke to them. Everybody had a Xena. Every guy had a Xena in his life, and every woman also had her own Romeo that had taken off, had done something.
Her own Ayo, or her own child.
If you would say so, or somebody else that was significant, special, and everything. But at the time, it was so inspiring for the students to read about how one person had gone through this sort of emotions and how they expressed it, and how it was helping them to also aspire towards having relationships that flowered along the lines of emotions and things like that. And so people healed from it. We had a lot of interactive stuff as well, who today are also doing very good in their different fields and everything. And more significantly, it's also birthed many other books. So this one experience was.
Okay, good. Let's go back to the romance aspect. So you did say that she tried to get back with you,
Yes.
but you refused. Why?
I didn't refuse.
Okay,
Can I read a piece?
go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Beyond the castle's walls. And it's still alive. It's still alive. So many years ago and still alive within me. She wanted out. She wanted to explore the world in its entirety. I advised her not to, for I knew the world and its wicked inhabitants. Still, she wanted out. Painfully, I lowered the bridge of the castle, gave her a tender kiss, and shed a tear as I watched her leave. Beyond the castle's walls, I could hear her screams, I could sense her anguish, and I could feel her misery. Not long after she departed, in utter frustration, she ran back to the entrance of the castle. Now, she wanted in. She wept in the open, begging me, "Lower the bridge." I wept in the castle, knowing that I wouldn't, because I couldn't.
Yeah, why couldn't you?
Why couldn't I? I was in pain. I was lost. There was trauma. Trauma just takes away from itself. I mean, that she had gone, for me, killed a part of me already, and it was like I lost a part of myself when she left. And I told her, I said, "Don't go. That world is cold, it's crazy, it's daring, it's frightening, it's loveless. I'm going." And so when she left like this, a part of me died. And she went out there to experience, and there I was in pain. And so by the time she came back, I think I was still in agony. I had still not come to a point where I had settled, and now she wanted back in on her own terms. That was what happened.
What was the time lapse between when she left and wanted back in?
Like 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Like 6 months.
Probably should have waited for you to heal properly before getting back with you, trying to get back with you.
Yes. And unfortunately, I had left school at the time, and she was in school. So I mean, even coming back to campus and everything, and there was just so much happening around me at that point in time, so I couldn't go back. And
yeah, but if you loved her, you would have accepted her back. You don't think so?
Well, today's realization, yes, but as a young boy in his 20s that was just trying to find his way around life and everything, pressures everywhere, I think that's where we lost ourselves.
Oh, okay. So, what's the relationship?
Well, we're friends. We're excellent, we're fantastic friends.
Oh.
Fantastic friends.
Okay. So this happened when you were in Nigeria.
Yes, certainly.
And then you're married, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Before you got married, how were you able to heal from that trauma of her leaving you?
Okay, this was part of the process. This was a huge part of the process. I think by the time
healing completely.
Yes, I think by the time the works started to impact lives and to heal other people, the joy of just watching the book accomplish that, I think, healed me completely. And then I had moved into an artistic milieu that found me feeling incredibly fulfilled in an endeavor that I did not start out off with at all. So there I found myself in the middle of an art gallery. I was going for performances, I was writing, and this really just was me, So I would say that the healing process was complete when the other side of me was born. So that it was brought about almost providentially to ensure that another aspect would be born, and that cycle closed at that point in time.
Okay, so that was you experiencing the dating scene in Nigeria.
Yes.
And then you moved to the US.
No, I won't say I moved to the US. I just go and come.
You just go and come.
Yes.
Did you experience the dating scene in the US?
Well, America was completely different.
Okay.
America's
so what's the dating scene like in the US compared to Nigeria?
It's completely different. It's completely different. Now, you have you have to be on the lucky side.
What do you mean?
Okay, if you find a conservative, wonderful, lovely young girl in America who loves you for you, it's paradise.
Mm.
Now, if you meet an angry black African, for instance, the one type you find in New York, who are constantly always fighting their men, then you could be in big trouble. You know, it's difficult to marry a woman who doesn't value a man other than for physical purposes, or who doesn't see him other than a bill paying machine. And there are lots of people like that who don't also understand or believe at all in love. On the other side, when you meet the person that then likes you or loves you, she doesn't demand anything material of you. She doesn't look at what you own. She's looking at you for who you are. She's looking to your spirit and saying, man, this person represents this, and she will love you for that reason alone.
Mm.
Um,
And you don't think we have such women in Nigeria? Because you made a statement earlier on. You said these days, it's all about the money. It's all about what they can get out of you in a relationship, and not necessarily about the love.
yeah,
Does that apply only in Nigeria or in both societies?
oh, you have people like that everywhere, you know. But I think we have that sub experience more in this part of the world, maybe because of the economy,
Maybe.
and maybe also because of the orientation, and maybe also because of the evolution of the human being. There seems to be a higher level of evolution. The race across the races, in the white race seems a bit more evolved than the black race in certain respects. And I'm not speaking in terms of technology. I'm speaking as human beings with empathy and emotion and those things.
Don't you think that has to do with our culture?
Yeah, but even the culture itself is still born of the fact that a set of people have aggregated in that point at that place to birth that culture, and that aggregation of those people is actually what makes them of that level of maturity. You're most likely going to find greater appeal getting a bouquet of flowers and giving a white woman, which she would so much adore and keep, and she bought flowers for me. If you did that 3-4 times with your girlfriend here, and she's like, he has never bought me a coat to wear, or food for the kitchen, or a shirt, or giving me the money, what am I going to be doing the flowers all the time?
Yeah, it still boils down to the culture.
No.
So the European culture would accept flowers over material things.
No, it's not that there isn't even a need for balance in other respects, but the person can still see the flower as a very high expression of love, or rose or something. Here, not just okay. So, okay, what in your opinion, for instance, now if I have to throw it back to you, is going to be considered emotionally appropriate to give the black woman in this part of the world? Because some things that you love is universal, and expressions of love itself is also universal. So, and there are people here in Nigeria who would also love romantic gifts, who love chocolates, who love strolls and all that.
Like you said, we have evolved.
Yes.
So women in this part of the world now accept chocolates, flowers.
Now, just recently, and value it as really some.
Of course.
Okay. Good to hear that. Good to hear that.
Oh yes. The percentage may not be as much as you would expect, but women are beginning to accept that.
But that's just my point. That's what
women are beginning to accept that. So as we evolve more, there'll be a greater number of women who would accept flowers and chocolates and all of that as gifts.
Yes. And so, if you're now of that mindset that you've gone shopping for your girlfriend, and you have a teddy bear, you have chocolates, you have this, maybe you've blown like 100,000 there, and then you have a perfume.
Teddy bear for a grown woman.
Yes, it's still an expression of
for a grown woman.
Yes.
In this part of the world.
That's what I'm saying.
Teddy bear.
Yes.
Even in developed societies, I don't know, teddy bear for a grown woman.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. With messages on them.
Really?
Yes.
If you say flowers, yes, but teddy
10
bear
days,
for a
yeah,
grown woman.
yes,
Really?
absolutely
Oh,
correct,
Jesus.
absolutely correct. So,
Okay.
and that's still a function of how emotional you are, because all the person was seeing is like, oh, it's it's like love outlives age. So you're not going to be saying because she's like 32 or 45 or 52 that you won't give her a teddy bear. I mean, she'll always be your baby. Take for instance medication. I happen to be practicing, alternative medicine and energy medicine, things like that. And I just know the kind of incredible things that our herbs can do without destroying the body, without having adverse side effects. But for one reason or the other, you just find out that we're hooked on this big pharma thing of having to buy drugs overseas and all of that. And then to the detriment of our own herbs and things here that just give us wonderful results. So we have to change that mindset. I tell myself, for instance, that has.
So, what did your wife think about this book?
Okay, great.
I mean, was she okay with it?
Yes, I'll make a clarification on that. Now, when I decided to eventually get settled down, and I told myself, okay, well, this is time. I just went headlong into it without very deep consideration. It was everybody was telling me, okay, so it's about time for you to get married and all of that. And so I told myself that maybe I'm the difficult one. One came in with a family attachment that I could not handle. I'm very independent. I've been like that for a long time. And there you are. You want to drag your whole family. Then you want to drag your mother, who will come and dictate what we should be doing in our place and all of that. Couple the fact that you're coming with this long list of dowry items that you want to specify, and it looked like a bazaar, sales to me and everything. And even when we went in, the amount of intrusion from the family was for me totally unacceptable. And this is a person that's has grown up in the house, seen the mother completely dominate the man, and so that pattern was hoped to have been replicated in my own place, and that's not just in me at all. So in record time, I was out. And I just told myself the truth that I can't handle this, and it came with so many things that were bizarre that I thought were just totally inappropriate. Now that took courage on my part because I had to be honest. A lot of the patients I see today are people that are having very deadly diseases because of wrong emotions stewed in them for too long.
Oh, wow.
We know that cancer, for instance, is usually born of unresolved, long-standing emotional pain.
Cancer.
90% of women that have cancer, especially breast cancer.
Are you serious?
Yes. You now have what you call the forgiveness therapy in medicine. Whereas before you even start treating the person, you must get that person to get rid of the pain. 90% of women that have breast cancer now, 90%, it starts from the left where the heart is. Because of the dynamics of how it works and how energy works. And by the time those emotions are imploding within the system, and there's no vent, and there's no letting it go, and you're in bed with this person that you're cursing every single day, it gets to a point in time where the energy flow of the body is completely blocked. Then the cells go into confusion. That confusion is what's called mutation. So, and the health does not start from the physical body, it starts from the emotions. You know that sometimes when you're angry, you could have a headache. Sometimes it precipitates a migraine. When people have too much worry, it affects the kidneys. When people are vindictive, and are desperately seeking revenge, you could start having heart palpitations. There's so many things that, govern the eyes and the organs of the body, which if you don't address or take care of, it will lead to the physical body vegetating. So a lot of people who are wrongly paired and who now want to manage or say because of the kids, especially because of the kids, the same relationship, end up being very miserable. Misery itself is a bad disease. That's depression. Depression is suicidal thoughts and so many other things that come in this train, because that also causes stress. Stress is also stroke and other diseases too. But you find that those people who are very happy and who have light cheer, beyond malaria, which will just come and go. They don't really have severe diseases because they're relaxed. But the people are bottling up emotions, and then for the sake of society, they want to give presentations of being or being well-being, and everything. But in truth, they're just dying within. That's terrible. So I know, as a practicing healing physician, that a lot of the people that come in with certain ailments, I investigate, I speak to them. In giving therapy, you want to know if the home front is balanced and there's peace. Once that has been identified, you'll do every single thing to make peace between partners. And if after that it isn't workable, then let them respectably go their separate ways. And you get the conundrum of, what will people say? They leave themselves and start to live for society. What will people say? And so a lot of people out there who are on their own don't know how blessed they are to just wake up happy and free from the poison of a bad relationship. People kill.
I know.
People kill these days because of these things. People go into all sorts of wars because of material things. People are fighting about things that you will never comprehend on the name of. And then, of course, it's also bad that in certain marriages, you have a lot of people seeking to control the other person. The person wants his wife to stay at home and not to work, or she wants the husband to be back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is very impractical for certain people. And so once that control thing happens, it becomes worse when a mother-in-law, for instance, comes in and says, the same way we have captured your dad is the same way that this man must submit. It leads to all sorts of terrible complications. If you're very strong, you will shut all of that out, be your own person, and pull your own path, regardless of what anybody has to say. But if you're weak, and you're like, okay, let us just manage this thing. When you start to manage that, you're managing everything about your life, your health, your progress, your prosperity. Everything is limited at that point in time because there's a partner that complements you, that's just like you, who will bolster you and encourage you on all fronts. So why manage when you can just admit that, okay, I made a mistake? And from there, get to seek the right partner, and then you get there. So that's said, I then moved on to find the person who brought everything I did to life. And because of that encouragement alone, you find that instead of writing one piece over the weekend, you want to write 10. So you can see your like, want to write it, and the person is very enthused. And then from there, so what do we do about this? Do we perform it? Do we write it? Do we act it? Do we publish it? And then different modes of expression. So I'm very blessed at this point in time with a person who, to my core, compliments me the way I feel a relationship should go. But I've also had the privilege of seeing the very nasty sides of bad relationship and bad in-laws and fetish and all sorts of funny things, which when I look back at today, I look back and I tell myself that, wow, that was some narrow escape.
You were once married?
Yes, I was, yes.
Oh.
For a month.
Just a month?
Yeah, just a month.
Well, that was a quick one.
Yeah, that's a quick one. I just admitted to myself that something had gone wrong.
But it was a good thing you admitted it to yourself. Someone.
Yes, a lot of people don't have that courage, and then at the end of the day, when the father-in-law in court came and they started performing fetish rituals in my compound, I just knew that I had taken the right decision and taken the right steps.
Ritual over what?
You never can tell how brave people think. They think that maybe they come and bring bottles or put jazz in your compound that someone's going to die. Were you in courtship with this person? No, unfortunately not.
Oh.
Unfortunately not. I just took somebody's advice and said, okay, well, this person. The way typical arrangee thing, and I said, okay, well, I for once let my guard down and said, okay, well, let's just see if I'm the one that's being stubborn, and I'll come with me, I'll make it work. But I realized that there's some people you're with, you can't make it work. You can't make it work, and if you're not strong enough, these people tend to veer you away from your path and your destiny, and then you just at that point in time put in every single thing you can to be strong enough to detach.
There were no children involved?
Yes, I have a daughter.
With her?
Yes, I do.
Oh, how do you guys cope? How do you co-parent?
It's a legal thing. It has to be a legal thing because it's not the kind of family that I can identify with easily. It's really a very been difficult.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your daughter is with her,
Yes, she's with her.
but you get to see her.
Not quite as much as I would have wanted to.
They only allow you see her when they want to.
Well, the truth is that I've just lent the whole process to the legal thing because when it got to the point where they had come to do fetish at my place, I just had to cut them off completely.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
And so you finally found your soulmate.
Yes, I found my soulmate.
How did you meet her?
We went for production. Went for production somewhere on the island, and in the course of getting ideas for a certain project we wanted to do, we just found that we're thinking alike. Every now and again I'll say, okay, this, and she'll say yes, and then we'll deepen and we'll expand, and we'll deepen and expand, and then from there, when I have lunch, I realized, okay, this person has a very evolved mindset and everything, and then it just clicked from there.
You've been married to her for how long?
I've been with her for 2 years.
Oh, and how has it been?
Paradise. Paradise.
Okay, for the benefits of our viewers, what's the name of your clinic?
The Lighthouse Healing Home.
Where is it?
It's at Akowanjo.
Akowanjo.
Yes, please.
You would like to tell us the address exactly?
30 Mohammed Street, Akowanjo,
Akowanjo.
opposite Elkana Schools of Akowanjo. Santos Estate, Akowanjo.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Ayo Dada, for your time.
Thank you very much.
It was a very insightful and educative interview.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much for having me here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.